You're listening to Compassion as My Compass, a weekly podcast all about living yoga off the mat. I'm your host, Ariel Zacco. Each week, we visit with a new yogi from around the world and discuss the basics of integrating yoga into your daily life and how to keep your yogi lifestyle going after your physical practice has ended. Thank you for joining me again this week. Happy first day of spring if you're in the U.S. Someone pointed out to me the other day that other countries have their seasonal changes on different days than we do, which I thought was really interesting. We'll say interesting and not get into a discussion about how the U.S. has to do everything different than other parts of the world. But if you're in the U.S. or wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely spring day. We'll just say that from there. Let's jump right in with our next guest. We're going to head over to India.
I'm Sumit, and I'm still learning about yoga and meditation. At the same time, I'm teaching since I was 16-year-old. It has been like about 20 years. I've been a full-time yoga teacher. And since I was in university studying philosophy, I was more interested in meditation and more mindful stuff. And that's what I got during my studies, and with the blessings of nature or God, I got the best teachers around me. They gave me the blessings and I got the best of them. And I'm in India right now, and I was traveling around from last 12 years. Sometime in Hong Kong, Taiwan, China, Japan, Thailand, and just nearby. And today I'm here with you all, sharing my experience and a little bit knowledge. So that's all from my side.
When did you decide to go from being a student to being a teacher?
I think when I was in a senior high school, I started teaching part-time during my summer vacation. And that's how I started to get some extra cash. And it was like a part-time job for me, and more like a fun, because I started as a yoga competitor. So my target was to perform well in yoga competitions. And I was a little bit into yoga therapy. It was very fascinating to me how we can treat so many diseases with yoga, And not only physical problems, but also problems related to mind. So I kept learning and kept practicing with that. And I was 16, I remember, that time. I became part-time teacher. And when I was 21, I became full-time.
So you said you've traveled quite a bit over the last 12 years. How do you find that the view of yoga or yoga practice in general changes from country to country and from culture to culture?
I think yoga is just like a very big building, very beautiful building. But remember, when you enter in a building, you have to cross a door. And the door is very beautiful. It's a very beautiful door. I call that door asana, People practice asana and they get stuck on the door. They don't even enter in a building. That's very unfortunate. And that's what's happening most of the places now. People are getting stuck at the door only. They don't know how beautiful the building is. When they are courageous enough to leave the door, they enjoy the beauty of the building. And that's what the real yoga is. That's what the place where you can start the meditation and the improvement of your mind and thinking.
I love that. That's like the best way that I've ever heard that described. That was incredible.
Thank you so much.
So how do you incorporate all of the other parts into the classes that you teach?
I think I divide my class in few parts. First is always like an introduction, physical introduction or mental introduction, whatever it is. It depends on the students and more like a demand and supply, because I'm living in a commercial world, so I have to take care of the people who are paying me actually. And I teach sometime according to my style. And my style is little bit physical. Just like I said, it's like a door. So we must close the door before entering the building. And when they enjoy the beauty of the building, they forget the door. You just believe me in this thing. They just forget the door and they enjoy so much being with themselves, you know. That's what I'm talking about, the building, the beauty of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think that that's a big struggle that we have as teachers is a lot of times people are giving you their money, their hard-earned money, and they want a workout. And it's great for a workout, and technically, yeah, it's yoga, but it's difficult to give only that, knowing that there's so much more to the practice as a whole.
I define it in a different way, like I call it detoxification, you know. When you are ready to detox your body, you will be ready to do something mentally. So let them take their time, you know. So everybody has their time. So when the right time will come, they will also move forward. So that's how it happens. And that's how it happens with everyone. Not in a single day, not in a first time. Everybody have their own right time, you know. And when we truly we believe in nature, and nature will guide us someday. Like you said, they are paying hard-earned money. So that's how the world works, you know. You give me, I give to you, and you give to other person, and then the circle will go on, and I will get it back somewhere.
So the main topic that we have today, we're going to talk about sort of the importance of connecting with yourself. It's a very
Exactly.
sort of mellow way to say it. Can you kind of walk me through your ideas on that?
I just want to begin my conversation of connecting with ourselves with a very familiar and common word. It's a friendship, you know, or relationship, we say in a better way. So what is the most important thing about the relationship? I describe it, you know, this way, like you have to become a friend with yourself first. Then only you can develop a relationship with yourself, right? So what we have to do to develop a friendship, we have to spend time together, right? We have to exchange. We have to know each other in a better way. And that's what we are not doing at all. We are just keeping ourselves busy in something very useless or something very unnecessary rather than putting that energy in ourselves. When we start to spend time with ourselves, we develop a very beautiful friendship with ourselves, and that is a true relationship we can have with ourselves. And that's a target. That's a thing we are supposed to do sometime in our lifetime. And if you are lucky enough, you will do it quicker, or anyway, you will do it someday.
So how would you describe that, spending time with yourself? What does that involve?
Uh, when you are a beginner, it's a bit difficult to do that because it's very uncomfortable being quiet with the closed eyes. And in the beginning, what you can do is you can go for a walk. You can observe the beauty of the nature. You can look at the sky. You can look at the trees. They will help you. You know, they will help you to exchange the energy, the purest energy we have in the nature. And after some time, when you will start to learn how to stay alone, you know, that's a big task. People are literally afraid of being alone. They can do anything to being with a crowd just to avoid their own company. And I'm talking just completely opposite and asking them to spend their time with their self, which is a bit difficult in the beginning. But they can do with whatever they love to do, their hobbies or music or art or singing, mantra chanting, pranayama. These things can help them to connecting with themselves.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be very regimented in like a meditation practice. You don't have to sit and just be quiet and just wait for, thoughts to quiet.
That's what I said. In the beginning, it's a bit difficult to sit with the closed eyes, being still. You know, that needs a lot of efforts. Even though you're doing nothing at all, but still it needs a lot of efforts. And so in a beginning, like I said, there are some easy ways that you can go for walk. Simply just go for walk. Because when you walk, you just spend your own energy with yourself without talking, without listening music, or observe the trees, observe the stars, or you do whatever you like to do, cooking, painting, or music, or singing, whatever you like. It will be just an easier way to come to the meditation. Meditation will be the second step when you will be able to stay alone with the closed eyes, when you are feeling your own energy, and that will be the beginning of meditation.
So is this an idea that you've always been very set on, something that's always been a big part of your life, or is this something that you've discovered over time and have given more thought and more energy to?
I think there must be a seed in a beginning, Without seed, there can't be any plant or tree. So there was a tree which is coming from my background. I belong to a very traditional family. Like I said, I studied philosophy in university, and there was a seed right that time when I realized something inside me when I was 8 or 9 year old. And you need proper care of the seed, proper time and environment you have to give it to, and then only it will be converted into a tree someday.
Mm-hmm. So what can someone expect when they start to give a little more focus to this? What changes can they hope to see or expect to see in their life?
I think the first changes they will observe will be like they will be no more interested in a crowd, which will be very weird for the worldly so-called society, because society is against this. They want us to be connected with everyone. When you start to be with yourself, of course you have to disconnect yourself with some outer connections, and that will be kind of beginning for you for being inside of yourself.
So you said meditation is sort of step 2. Are there steps beyond that, or is that sort of where you want to live?
This is something unlimited, I would say. Meditation is just the beginning, and end is also meditation. Because like in English language, we have all the verbs we have ing in the end, like talking, listening, eating, sleeping. Now, whatever we are doing, there is ing. What does that mean? It means there is a limit of everything. If I talk too much, people say I'm crazy. If I listen too much, they will say I'm crazy. If I eat too much, I will get sick. If I don't eat too much, then again it will be a problem. So everything I have to do, but in a limit. But yoga is also a verb, but there is no ing behind. We call it yoga abhyas in Sanskrit or Hindi. It means yoga practice. So more you practice, more you involve yourself into yoga, the more bliss you get. That's how it works. So there is no limit when you practice yoga.
You said when we started that you're a student first. Most people that I come across, most teachers that I come across do consider themselves to forever be students of the practice. But so far no one has made it a point to say that above all else they're a student. So how do you continue your learning sort of indefinitely?
Like I said, meditation has no limit. Once you begin, you begin. And there is no end. So every day I have different experiences with myself, with the people I meet, and every day my energy is changing. So this is the result of my own practice, and it's very fascinating for me that I can see changes. I have deep observation about myself, and I can see in which direction I'm going. So I really enjoy being a learner. When there will be a time when there will be no teacher, but still you are a student, because ultimately you are learning with every breath you take. That's how it goes. When you are humble enough, you accept everything, good or bad. You don't have any kind of judgment, right or wrong. You don't have any decision making, but you accept everything.
Mm-hmm. How do you keep the curiosity going? I think people have a tendency to get bored when things are the same and become routine. So how do you keep wanting to do more and wanting to go deeper into your meditation?
This is very interesting about yoga practice, because it's very easy to get bored when you practice yoga. So like I said in the beginning, when you don't develop a connection with yourself, that will be a trouble for you later on. But once you start to feel yourself, it will be easy for you to connecting with yourself, and that won't let you bored. I promise you, because you will enjoy so much being with yourself. Now, ultimately, you are with your best friend, which is yourself. So how can you get bored with that? And that's what the curiosity is. If on this level I can enjoy that much, so imagine when I will go forward, if I move forward, how I will be and how I will be with myself. That's how it goes.
So we sort of live in well, I don't know, this may be different culturally or from country to country, but in the States at least, there's this weird belief that you're not allowed to really be okay in yourself and to like yourself. There's sort of an arrogance that comes with that. So how do you, if someone is experiencing this belief that they're not allowed to be okay with themselves, how do you encourage them to work through those thoughts and that negativity?
I can totally relate with what you said, because society is definitely against with this, that you are staying with yourself, because this is the murder of society. That's how society dies. But if you want to keep the society alive, you have to keep pretending that you are enjoying company of everyone. You are enjoying being fool. You are enjoying being lost. But like I said, there will be a time, because we are all taking our time to realize that we are not here for without any reason. We definitely have a purpose for being here. So let's see how much time who will take. But when you start to feel weird reactions from the people around you, because you are getting into yourself, I think there will be some criticism, some protest, or some comments which you won't appreciate. But at certain limit, I think you will not care about them, because you have something which is very precious. Now you have found a diamond within you, so you don't care about what people are saying about you. And that is very the situation when you cannot leave yourself or accept that those foolishness we are taught since the very beginning. Like when we go to school, you imagine the difficulty a small kid is facing when they go to school. Teachers want to teach them, do this, do that, be like this, be like that. And when they get back to home, parents are teaching them, do this, do that, be like this, be like them. Nobody is nobody's trying to accept them the way they are. So society is against our true self. So they want to change us in some way. So we have to develop that acceptance for ourselves first. No matter how do I look like, no matter what color I am, no matter from which race I am, no matter what language I speak, but I have to accept myself first in the true form I am. So that will be the first step, when I will accept myself. Otherwise, how can I expect from the people to accept me? And that will be very weird and very strange, because I haven't accepted myself yet. So let's start with ourselves. So, every day when you see mirror, you have imagination in your mind. You want to look like that. You want to be like that. But you are not. And again, you got disappointment. To avoid that disappointment, you start accepting yourself. When you accept yourself, you will be the happiest person, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's worth saying, this is, a normal thing, but maybe something we don't think about a lot. As long as you're on this earth, you're with yourself. There's no getting away from who you are. So it's really in your better interest to be comfortable with who you are. And you can look at yourself and say, here's where I am and this is where I want to be, but you're allowed to be happy with who you are on your way to who you want to be. It doesn't have to be, perfect or self-hate, I guess.
Definitely, yes, definitely. Because, but still we have to search who you are. This is very interesting. So who you are you this body? Are you the name, whatever you have on your passport? I think not. You are beyond that. You are beyond this identification of this body, right? So that's what we are trying to search in the meditation. I must be not a gender I look like from outside. Oh my God, when I close my eyes, I can't find myself. So there must be a different identification inside. So I have to look for that. I have to search for that. And let's see how long I will take. Usually, when we practice this meditation, and this meditation technique came from a uh, very important saint in Indian culture from south of India, Raman Maharishi. He said, you keep chanting who am I, in your native language. And one day you will get the answer who you are. So first, what will happen will, you will lose your identification. You will forget your gender. You will lose whatever name you have. You will lose your post or position or occupation or profession, whatever you have. You will get closer to zero. When you get zero, you will lost. You will feel yourself lost. And some people start crying when they enter into meditation because they thought, I have my family, I have my friends, I have my siblings, my parents, but they find nothing inside. That's very terrible. That's very horrible. To being alone, completely alone. I was thinking that I am covered with people, I have protection, but when I close my eyes, I find nothing. So I have to find myself with this very small and easy mantra, who am I? Who am I? If I keep chanting this every time, it will take about 6 months when I will realize I'm not who I look like. I'm not who people call me. So there will be different identification.
What do you find is the most difficult part of this for you or for your students or just people in general?
I think it depends on person to person. What is most difficult for you, that could be the easiest thing for me. And what I'm thinking is difficult is easy thing for you. But when we start detaching ourselves, I think that is the most difficult thing for most of the people, because we got so much attachment, we got so much tendency of possession, and one by one we have to leave them. One by one we have to say goodbye to everything, physically, mentally. I think that is the most difficult thing people face during meditation.
But would you say that it's worth all of the hard work put in?
Definitely yes, definitely yes. Because this is something we are here for for no, we are not here for making money, right? We are not here for getting fake fame. We are definitely here for getting something worth our time and energy. So when we start to feel ourselves with a cosmic universe, we start to dissolve in it, without leaving our body, because it all happens mentally, and we start to feel the every uh, atom and the energy in some ways with the breathing or whatever we eat. That's how it begins, and definitely it's worthwhile. And this is the ultimate purpose of our lives.
Mm-hmm. What's a good first step for someone who knows yoga only as the physical practice, who maybe wants to start to expand on this?
I think practicing physical yoga is already good, because what happen is when you practice asana, you have time, you have opportunity of being with yourself. Otherwise, when you go to gym or you do some other kind of exercises, you divert your energy. But when you hold one posture, when you hold one asana, you feel yourself, you feel pain, you feel some stretching or you feel some struggle at least in somewhere in your body. So that is a first step already. And you can feel yourself, you can feel the difficulty. It doesn't matter how good you look when you are in front of mirror. It doesn't matter how expensive clothes you wear. It doesn't matter how healthy food you eat. But when you start practicing yoga, it gives you opportunity to be with yourself. So when you are with yourself, you can move forward with your breathing, or you can chant mantra, you can sing something, or you can be creative in so many ways, in art or music, or if you feel your energy is not matching with those things, just go for a walk, or just observe the nature. Just look at the sky, look at the sunset or sunrise, and that will be the beautiful beginning.
And I think it should be said that it can change from day to day or week to week. It doesn't have to be the same practice every day. It can really be whatever your body is sort of wanting at that time.
I think it can change every day, because it really depends on what you are looking for. Because if you only focus on the physical practices, definitely you will make progress day by day in your asanas, in your postures, and the same thing will happen with your mind. Like I said, when you keep practicing day and night, who am I, keep chanting, keep reciting this mantra in your mind, it will take about 6 months. So from the beginning till the end of the 6 month, every day it will be like a steps. Like you go for trekking, you go for hiking, you walk every 50 steps, you have a different view, right? So that's what happens with a meditation. When you go deeper and deeper, you have different view and different experience to feel. That's how it happens.
Yeah, perfect. Any last bits of advice or comments you want to add?
I think it's very difficult, because
I know this is the hardest question.
the topic, because giving advice is the hardest,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be too judgmental or too narrow for
Mhm.
anybody, because I really want to be, very open in the sky. So I would just say, just be happy and take your time. You are coming here, definitely. I can see you are moving in the right direction. Maybe your ego and your foundations or your boundaries are stopping you, but start living with yourself. You are not here for no reason. You are definitely here for more than making money or making good relationships or whatever. Life never stops. When you get failure somewhere, definitely there is another door open for you. So look for that and the most important is, just forget everything. Whatever happened is happen for good. Whatever will happen for good. That's what I truly believe in. And that's from the Sri Bhagavad Gita. It's a preaching of Lord Krishna. That's what he said, that don't worry about anything. Just keep doing, keep performing your karma, and the fruit will reach you definitely.
Yeah, beautifully said. What is your social media so we can follow you?
My Instagram is Yogi Sumit, YOGISOOMIT, and my website is yogisumit.com, and that's what my YouTube channel is, Yogi Sumit, and yeah, I have few Facebook pages. I think with my website you can look for me.
And that does it for our show this week. I hope that you liked this one. I hope this was informative to you. I know that I really, really enjoyed this interview, and the way that these ideas were worded and explained and put across, I think was very easily digestible and really, really wonderful. Sort of a good intro almost to the vast options that yoga has to offer, but also a really good way for people that have been practicing a long time to get back to basics. So I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you for taking the time and for joining me again this week. If you want to follow Sumit on all of his social media, that is in the show notes, so you can look it up there. You can also give me a follow. Instagram is compassion.as.my.compass. That's just periods in between each word. You can head over to my website, compassionasmycompass.com, and please feel free to reach out to me on any of those platforms. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying a beautiful spring day, or maybe it's winter wherever you are. I am happily in the sun in California at the moment, so things are good here, and I hope they're good for you as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you next week for our next show.